So tonight on Can't Tell a Fat Man Nuthin, I'm gonna cook my dad, also known as Big Irvs, chuck roast. And it's not normally how most people cook it. I'm gonna use this contraption that I've had for a little over 30 years, and most Louisiana folks has this same contraption. It's called a rice cooker. Follow along and see how I do it. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is I got my chuck roast out. Then you get room temperature. I got one whole onion. I got about 6 cloves of garlic and a bunch of green onions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of these onions into teeny tiny pieces, and about 3 of these cloves of garlic in about teeny tiny pieces, and some green onions in teeny tiny pieces. I'm going to mix all that up and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. Follow along. All right, I got my onions, garlic, and green onions chopped. I'm going to just chop this fine as I can get. I'll mix it all together. Fine. All right, after you got it finely chopped, you take it all and put it in a bowl. Now I've got more than what I'm going to need it for initially, but I'm going to show you what to do with the rest. So stick in the bowl, get you some mustard and some seasoning out, and we'll show you what's coming up next. All right, I got my seasonings. I'm going to put a little bit of mustard in here, and then just add whatever seasonings you want to this mixture. I'm a little cayenne for me, a little blend of kindred, salt, garlic, and pepper, and some Tony seasoning. Take that, and then you mix all this together, not with your finger, get a spoon or a fork and mix it together. All right, so once you got everything in your little bowl, I add some minced garlic from the fridge. I like mine a little bit garlicky. Just mix that all up together really well. Get that mustard and seasoning all in together. All right, now what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your chuck roast, put some mustard on it on both sides, and we're gonna rub that mustard all into it like that. Once you got your mustard all over your roast, I'm gonna take my knife, I'm gonna cut some slits into it, and then I'm gonna take this onion mixture that we have, and we're gonna stuff that roast with that onion mixture. Several different spots on this roast, I'm going to do that to it, okay? Just like that. All right, I got 3 spots that I've done the garlic stuffing in my roast. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to season it up. Use any kind of seasonings you want. I'm using, this is garlic salt, I'm going to start with. And then I'm going to do some onion powder, garlic powder, season all, some Tonys, and some cayenne. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, as you see, I got all of my seasonings on here and on both sides. Now what I'm gonna do, my dad didn't do this part, I'm gonna do this part, just a little bit different than he did. He would just stick this in your rice pot or rice cooker. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sear it in a hot pan. I'm getting my oil in my black iron skillet, nice and hot. I'm gonna sear it on both sides and seal those flavors inside that steak. Be back in a second. All right, I got my pot hot. I'm gonna take my chuck roast, and my dogs are going crazy. I'm gonna sear this really well on both sides. All right, I'm gonna lift it up and see if it sears real good. We're getting a nice sear. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna let that sear on that side. All right, once it's gotten seared on both sides, again, my dad didn't do this, Big Irv didn't do this, but I'm doing it. I wanted to lock in those that juice. Take your roast, get your rice cooker or rice pot. I probably should have made sure my roast is a little bit smaller. That's okay. We're gonna make it work. Put your roast inside here, just like that. As you can see. Now I'm gonna take 2 cups of water and a little bit of kitchen bouquet. My dad used kitchen bouquet. I don't normally use kitchen bouquet, but I am for this because he did. We'll put 2 cups of water into my pan and get all those gramies or coat the bottom and get those juices out. There's one. And here's the second one. And the reason why I sear mine, because I want to get these bottom scrapings off of this pot to help my gravy. Get those flavors that's been cooked off that steak. So we're gonna stir this and get those greenies at the bottom off the greenies, the blacking coating at the bottom of this pot. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it into our rice cooker, okay? Let me stir this real quick and get this all nice and ready. All right, got the 2 cups of water with a little bit of ketchup bouquet, and I scraped all the bottom of that pot, get those things off. I'll put this into my rice cooker. I want enough to cover up this roast. As you can see, I have this little bit still that needs a little bit of water. I'm gonna add 3 cups of water because now my roast is covered in water. All right, I got my roast ready. Got my rice cooker pot plugged in, and I got my roast in there. I'm gonna put a little bit more of this garlic mixture that we had earlier into the pot. Stir that around. I'm not gonna add any seasonings just yet. Remember, my steak is already salted, it's salted, but also seasoned, along with my onion mixture is seasoned as well. So put the top on, and then set it to cook. And when it gets to warm, I'll show you what's next. All right, so now it's dinged once. We're gonna take this roast out, and we're gonna flip it. We got a pretty color on that roast. Nice and brown. All right, so we flipped it once. We're gonna add, he calls for 1 cup of water. I'm gonna add 2 cups of water to this roast, put the lid on it, and restart it again. Wait for it to ding, and it'll be done. All right, I forgot to tell you that I also will add half of that onion, and I'm gonna add some whole garlic into this second round of cooking. All right, it's dinged for the second time. What we're gonna do is now we're gonna take the roast out of the pot. It's part of it right there. It's falling apart. Here's the second piece. And it already has a pretty gravy, as you can see. Nice and dark. See those greenies at the bottom? What I'm gonna do is, he puts it on the stove and he makes a gravy, or he finishes up his gravy here. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to it. And then I'm gonna finish cooking up this gravy. And while my gravy's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and slice up my roast into little slices. But look how pretty that is. As you can see that nice stuffing right there, giving all that good flavors. Let me finish cutting this up, and I'm gonna show you how to plate it. Tonight with our roast, I'm gonna have some sauteed fresh green beans, sweet potato, a roll, and then I just made, actually I didn't make it because I just was doing a little quick dinner. Got some cheddar jasmine rice in the microwave. That's what I'm serving with this. I'm gonna top it with some gravy, like that. Take a couple of pieces of this beautiful hand-cut, wonderfully rice-cooked chuck roast, and put some gravy on top of that. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. Can't tell a fat man nothing.